It's not the most exciting photograph I've ever taken, but I quite like this little scene. I like roads that just sort of wander off into the distance. This, I think this is Brean Down here, for those who know the area. I think this is called Brean Down Farm, and you can just about see uphill right there in the distance. So sky's quite plain, so I'll try and liven it up a little bit. All the usual gear, you'll see a list in the video description. I don't know why, I think like telegraph poles and telegraph lines always make quite an interesting feature. So as always, I'm going to grab the big 8 brush. And this is just clean water all the way over. Just wet the paper evenly everywhere. And then say raw sienna, let's just try and mix it up a bit. Say raw sienna, a bit of alizarin crimson. Oh, that's caught a lot of this mud on the palette. Not to worry. And I'm just going to bit more water, it's a little bit dry. A little bit dry, so it's just like a sort of background colour. A bit of blue in there as well. Right. Put a few clouds in, so I'm going to go bit of blue, bit of alizarin. Not so much clouds, these are sort of the sky between the clouds. Just going to brush that down there. A bit more of that. Right, now let's put some dark clouds. I'm going to go alizarin crimson, a bit of Payne's grey. We should put our clouds in. Let's bring them down there like that. So I'm just using again the corner of the brush. Bring them, because the horizon lies down somewhere like that. So as they get closer to the horizon, they get narrower and narrower. So they look as if they're really far away. Just dabbing on down that way. Just dab, dab, dab. There's a big cloud up there. Darken these a little bit. Clouds here and there. And try not to overdo it, it's very easy to overdo it. Now, paper stretched a little bit. You can stretch it before you start if you want. I just stretch it as I'm painting. Just re-clip it. The sky looks a bit more interesting than the one in the photograph. There wasn't much happening in that, just a bit of blue. Another thing you could do if you wanted to, clouds, some white clouds, you can either use a tissue, dab them out with a tissue, or you can use a clean damp brush like that and just take a few little white clouds out. All I'm going to do for that. Next I'm going to look at this horizon line now. I can just about see uphill in the distance. What I might do, I think because I want a sharp edge, so I'm going to right side. Doesn't have to be bone dry, I'm just more interested in this horizon line, a third of the page up. And what I'm going to do, just take a little bit of all these sky colours, see the chisel edge on the brush there, and then somewhere about here is the hill, the sort of tip of the hill. Up there, something like that. And come down. That's all you can really see of uphill right in the distance. There is. You can see a few. I wonder if I could scrape them out. Some of the farm buildings. Just wondering if scrape these out now. What's it going to look like? Probably work better if I allowed it to dry first. There's just some dark roofs. Dark roofs on the top. I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that in a bit. For now, in front of that we've got some nice little fields, well not big fields really. And then coming over. Something like that. And some darker trees I can see. So I'm gonna, I don't want too much water on the brush. Just gonna go a bit of ultramarine, lemon yellow, Payne's grey, really sort of dark green. Quite far away, so I don't want to turn too big. Just dip the tips of the water in the brush in the water, because I need quite a sharp edge on this. Because I don't want these trees too high, because they're so far away, and it'll just ruin the scale of the thing. And then on the left hand side, so coming from Brean down, just the tops of these trees from Brean down, coming to the path round here. Let's just change that colour a little bit. Give it a bit of raw sienna in there. Below that, there's just a little wall on the left hand side. I'm just going to go a bit of burnt umber, ultramarine. That's all I'm going to do for the wall. And then below that, just a little bit of grass. just runs up to the edge of this road that swings round. And on this side, here we've got a few little bushes. That's some dark. Just go a little bit lighter. Bit of raw sienna, lemon yellow. Ultramarine, lemon yellow. And this again is the grass that's just running up to the edge of the road. What I'm going to do next is just give it a quick sweep. I don't know why, but sort of light red and ultramarine always sort of looks nice as a sort of pathy, roady type colour. Not too wet, because you want it to break. I'm just going to go around there like that. Just want it to break. That hasn't really broken. It goes a little bit. That's our roadie. And what I'm going to do next, we've got, actually first give it a quick dry. A few Telegraph poles, so I might just switch to the little flat brush here, bit of burnt umber, bit of ultramarine. There's one pole, there's another one, there's a small one just behind it. And they go right off into the distance. There's also one that does go off across the field and beyond. Just trying to keep it as subtle as I can. And switch to the bigger brush. Now this Telegraph pole, wire rather, it sort of goes there and it goes right up there. Just making sure there's no paint on the hand while I do this. Into there, and that's there. And there's nothing beyond. Just about to see these ones. Now we just need some shadows. So I'm going to go bit of blue, bit of brown, maybe a bit of red in there as well. Again, very dull day. The photograph's not really helping with shadows. I can't, because it was so dull, there was no light. I'm just going to make them up. So now this already looks like as if there's shadow coming from there. Now if you imagine, let's just say it's the light's coming in this direction. So I'll just pretend that there's something over here casting a shadow. And all these little ones there. Shadow off the Telegraph pole. Really thick. I should use a smaller brush for those. Never mind. I think I'll just leave it that for now. Give that a quick dry. I'm just going to stick a little bird in the sky. So, there. I'm going to pull that one finished. Stick my name in the corner. Let's see what that looks like with the main. So there we go with the main sun. So let's see how it compares to the photograph. You can see how I've tried to make the sky more interesting. This is just a plain blue with a bit of cloud, whereas this one's a bit of raw sienna, ultramarine, alizarin crimson. Various mixes, Payne's grey in there. Also a few clouds. Like I said, getting narrower and narrower as they get towards the horizon to help create that sort of depth. You can see uphill right in the distance. I was going to come back and with the farm buildings, but I didn't bother in the end. You can just see them there in the distance, quite subtle. I thought I'd leave them like that, just nice and subtle. Then you can see the sort of lighter area of the sky, sort of coming down into this brightly lit field, and then by doing these bushes nice and dark with the shadows coming off it, that creates that sense of light, bit of drama, as opposed to the photograph where, like I say, every time I go out to take photos, the sun never seems to be out. That's my quick impression of Brean Down Farm with uphill in the distance. I hope you like that. Remember to keep practicing. Any questions please ask, and I'll see you again soon.